With news breaking regarding the recent sale of the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel, aka FEHO, I thought it crucial to get this episode out as quickly as possible.
Welcome to the American Grown Podcast, hosted by Austin Sullivan. The American Grown Podcast will focus on people from different walks of life and their journey to where they are now. Now, turn up your volume and settle in for a great episode.
Hi, I'm Austin Sullivan. This is the American Grown Podcast, recorded inside the Colortech Creative Solutions studios. Today, we have Mike Saphore and Matt Funck here to discuss the rich history of the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel and what the future holds for this community mainstay. Mike and Matt, welcome to this special edition, episode 17 of the American Grown Podcast.
Thank you very much, and good evening.
Yeah, welcome, gentlemen. Well, let's start off with a cheers. We're going to have a little drink here.
Okay.
Cheers to new friends, exciting adventures, and
Thanks, Austin.
what life holds. No, so really, I appreciate you guys coming in. Oh, hell yeah. Take the bottle. You need it. I can't believe you're empty. We're just getting started. Here, okay, pass that back real quick.
That was a shot of courage right there.
Oh, my God.
Just take that. You good there,
Yeah.
Matt?
I'm
You're good? You're good. Okay. All right, so we got some bullet and proper 12 for the listeners. We're going to have some pictures up on Facebook and Instagram, American Grown Podcast. But, all right, gentlemen, let's start this off by giving the listeners a little background about yourself. Matt, why don't you go first? Just where were you born, and let's get the backstory of you.
Okay. Yeah, I was born in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, much like probably most people in Lebanon County. And I grew up in North Annville, went to Annville-Cleona Elementary and High School. And my parents had been in business at the time of my birth for 6 years already at that point. You know, they had a Tasty Freeze in Palmyra, and they had just purchased the restaurant at Fort Indian Town Gap. So I kind of came along with that and grew up with that, so...
You and everybody else.
Yeah, me and
Chicken licking.
Yeah, yes, it was chicken licking at the time.
Okay, yeah.
And then yes.
Roasted chicken.
Yes, and it changed over to Funck's restaurant in the later 80s, so...
That sounds good. And family.
So my wife, Andrea, I've been married for 24 years. Coming up, this next year it'll be 24. We have 6 children, ranging from ages 26 down to 12. So
wow.
We kind of have the gamut covered. And,
Yeah.
Wow. They keep me young. So,
yeah, they keep you busy, right?
It's a little odd because like when they were young, it was like, oh my word, this is like what were we thinking? Kind of.
Yeah.
Like it was busy, and
right.
I mean, it didn't slow down now that they're older, but you know, we are at the point where we have 4 out of school already. I mean, some are in college, but they're out of high school and kind of adults. So
is the 26-year-old, are they involved?
The 26-year-old is not.
Okay.
I do have my my son that's going to be, or he is a senior at college. He would like to be involved in it.
Perfect.
And then I have another son that is a freshman at Penn State Harrisburg. Gavin, he's looking to also be in it. So and I guess So I started 26 with my son Zachary, 22 Hayden, 19 Gavin, 18 Wade, 14 Oliver, and 12 Bridget.
Wow. All right.
So 5 boys and a girl.
Okay. Shout out to the family and your wife, Andrea.
Yeah, my wife, Andrea.
All right, for putting up with you.
Yeah, well, she'll tell you she has 7 kids, so.
That's probably what my wife would say. Not the 7, but we just had our first, a baby girl, Parker.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. She's going to be 4 months, in the new year, in January. So that's been a whirlwind. And she's great, though. She's
a little sully.
Yeah, a little sully. Yeah, she sleeps through the night and everything. But 7, that might take a little while. 7. I'm sorry. Oh, gosh. All right, the bourbon's hitting me.
You'll have to talk your wife into that, see if she's a game for it.
Yeah, I'll run that by her. All right, I'm going to get in trouble now. All right. So, Mikey, let's get your background, born and raised. What'd you do growing up?
I was born in Lebanon, like probably all of us, like Matt said. Born and raised in Fredericksburg, PA. My parents, they bought they were in business since I was 6. And I went in the military when I was 18, and I was 24 when they sold the first time, and then they got it back about, it was like 5 years later, and they ended up selling it again. What's the best way to put that, Matt? Somebody thought they wanted to be in business, and they didn't.
Realize it's a little bit more
Yeah.
than you would think. Yeah, it's not all it's cracked up to be. A lot of people think it's easy. Being your own boss and paying yourself, and
it's a handful, and if you expect anything different, you're just fooling yourself. They offered me the hotel when I was 24, and I had about 6 years in the military at the time, and I wasn't ready for that. So then I finished out my career in the military, and I ended up 1 block away from where I grew up, which is obviously it was the Fredericksburg Hotel, and then I renamed it the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel after my parents, which they owned the Eagle Hotel, the original Eagle Hotel in Fredericksburg.
Wow.
So, like Matt, I'm a second generation business owner, restaurant, tavern, whatever name you want to put on it, entrepreneur. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it, when I got out of the military. It was just one of those things where I had a background. It was available. I got out. I bought it. And 3 days after I got out of the military, we started running the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel. After the rename, we did a 15-day. By law, you're allowed to be closed 15 days without putting your license in safekeeping. And we did a 15-day turn, like bar rescue. That's what I called it.
Yeah.
It was a bar rescue.
John Taffer bar
18,
rescue.
20 hours a day, and you did it again the next day.
When you say bar rescue, you were going in remodeling, fixing it up, or?
Oh yeah. I got another little caveat there with that too.
Okay.
So, unbeknownst to myself, Matt's wife, her father, he helped my father back in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, at the Eagle Hotel, 1 block away. In 2007, he helped me paint and get things together in the hotel. And I didn't know that. I'm telling Matt the story down in the basement when we were, in the first, in the negotiations, and it was like, are you serious? And, the only thing I can get from that is, we have either from Ron, we had a thumbs up or we had a thumbs down.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
and from there forward, it was, I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh,
I thought it was neat.
What a small world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. And Mikey, you were, I didn't know how long, but 23-year veteran of the Army and PA National Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind, let's cheers to all the service members out there, currently serving, and those that have retired. Thank you all for what you do. Appreciate it greatly. All right. So how long has Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel, or the Eagle Hotel, how long has there been a bar and pub there?
To my knowledge, 1823.
Wow.
You can look it up in the Lebanon historical. It's 26 or 27. It burnt.
Okay, like burnt to the ground.
No, not completely to the ground. From Center Street east, town burnt, and they had there was a young boy was shooting at pigeons with a musket.
And that's what started it.
It started the roof on fire, and it spread east.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was it was obviously probably catastrophic. But the Percival Strauss, he's the one that had, and it was called the Strauss House for a while. And in between there was other names, but Percival Strauss, he built it back up. And that was in the 1860s.
Okay. So long-standing, it's always been there. It's been, like I said, a mainstay to the community. Now, after roughly 16 years, you've owned it. All but 16 years.
Yeah, in March it would be 16 years.
And you're deciding you're selling it. You sold it.
Oh, it's sold.
It's sold, baby.
Oh, yeah.
It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah,
okay.
And him and I talked early on, and it's very bittersweet. But like I said earlier, it was time. It's time to move on.
So, Matt, because we want to get some background on yourself and your family business, what you have going on. Funck Restaurant Group, how'd that come about? I know you mentioned, sound like your parents were involved and everything, but let's get some background, because from my knowledge, I've born and raised in Lebanon, 31 years old, and it seems like Funck restaurants are everywhere, and the food's always good, never had any issues. But yeah, let's get some background.
I guess going back to looking at my parents both grew up in farms. My dad grew up on a farm in North Anvil. My mom grew up on a farm in Mount Zion. They both they grew up on the farm, graduated high school, and at the time, they kind of got jobs. My dad was working at Hershey, and my mom had gone to Alcoa. They'd gotten married. They were doing that for a little bit, and they were like, we don't think this is what we really want to do with our lives. And my mom, they had purchased, it was a Tasty Freeze in Palmyra.
Okay, yes.
Where the Funck's is right now, like where the Funck's restaurant is in Palmyra. And my mom had left Alcoa and was working. She would work at the Tasty Freeze. My dad was still working at Hershey and coming down and working at the Tasty Freeze and kind of double shifting it, because, they were young and they had a young family. You gotta do what you have to do. So, but they were able to be successful with it. Moved on. They added the Chicken Lickin' at Fort Indian Town Gap in 1975. They had a couple other places at different times. They opened the Funck's convenience store, which they had run a gas station or a gas station garage beside it prior. They opened that in 1983. They had a restaurant in Lebanon, right on Cumberland Street for a little while. There was a Funck's there, and that was probably 20 years ago. You were probably really young when they sold that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that was probably 99 that they sold that. And
Okay.
They had bought a convenience store at Manada Hill. But kind of time went on. My brother, I have two other brothers that were involved in the business. At the time of my parents getting ready to retire, my one brother decided he kind of wants to do his own thing and has the convenience store at Grantville, across from the Holiday Inn.
Yep.
My brother Gary has
I know
that,
you're at.
and my brother Alan and I kind of went into the restaurant business together. And that was 2013, 2014, and my parents had retired, and we kind of were like, okay, well, if we're going to make a go of this, we got to change something, because, we had essentially diner-type restaurants, and so we had looked. That next year, we had added a liquor license at the Funck's location, and, we kind of went from there, and we thought, well, we want to keep doing this and growing, and we had added Funck's in Leola right off of 23.
Yes.
Yep. And then we had bought the Rising Sun.
Oh yeah, I love that bar. That's very nice.
2018-ish, I think. I don't know. I'm bad with years. Everything seems.
Oh yeah, numbers are no.
That
not
place
my
is
thing.
amazing.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, we kind of. We liked it, and we kind of got in, and we're like, okay, well, we got to remodel a little bit, and it was in way worse shape than we were kind of thinking, and it kind of ended up being more of a remodel. It was.
It needed some love.
It needed a lot of love.
Yeah.
It needed some structural help with it, so which we were not anticipating. But
oh gosh,
so we revamped that a little bit, and then my brother Alan, and I'm in business with, he had purchased some other properties. He has the Quentin Tavern, Mount Gretna Hideaway, and then he's also has T.J. Rockwell's.
Yes, yep, yeah. I heard about that, and Snitz Creek, because I see you have your
Snitz
shirt.
Creek to make
Beer
it work,
liquor
so.
sucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard, right?
Oh, they suck.
All right, so
Yeah,
we'll
so
edit that out. So,
Just saying.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So bizarre.
So let's pick back up. Working with your brother, what's that like? Working with Alan?
Honestly, I worked with him. He had gone to college, kind of worked in the family business. I worked in the family business. I went to college, and I was like, this really ain't for me.
Okay.
I'm sitting in class, and I'm paying people to, not really. It was just, I don't know. It was eye-opening, I guess.
Wait, well, now you got to go into it. You're paying people.
Well, you're paying people to teach you, and you're sitting there, and you're kind of just being force-fed their ideals as opposed
and you
to
regurgitate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
On
and
a
I
test.
was like, this isn't for me. I know what
I
I want
agree.
to do.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
I kind of left, and
Why
I
waste the money?
I had good
waste of
teachers
money.
and my parents.
Didn't know it at the time.
Yeah, well,
I didn't.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
I I learned. I was very fortunate. I learned a lot from them, and the goods and the bads. And I mean, and they had, fortunately, they had a lot of experience that they were able to pass on of the goods and the bads, and that's business. In Mike's 16 years, he can vouch for the goods and the bad parts of.
I learned so much from my parents that I didn't even realize until you were like in it.
Yeah.
My dad, he said, "What are you thinking?"
What he said, what are you thinking?
Oh yeah, what are you thinking? We went for a tour in 2006 between Christmas and New Year, and he shook his head as a no.
Yeah.
And he just said, you got your hands full. And I said, yeah, we do. I said, I had good teachers. I said, I'm going to lean on your ass.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah.
I did. At that time, my dad's 87 now. At the time, he was a spry 71.
Fiery.
The Eagle Hotel, Joyce and Whitey's Eagle Hotel, he was also an electrician. So we wired the deck. So if you have any issues,
we know who did it.
I did it. If you have any issues, I had a hand in on that. So, but I leaned on him a lot, for guidance. Hey, what do you think? He said, I told you what I thought at the beginning.
Yeah, and you didn't listen, did you? You went right in.
So
he dove right in.
But he just said, listen, he said, you'll do fine. He said, you're going to have your hands full.
Yeah.
And we did.
From, when I go to the FEHO, it's always welcoming. It's a local bar, local restaurant that, you see people and the food's good. The staff has been fantastic. Steffi, we talked about earlier, she's amazing. She really is, and they all are. But, Steffi, I just shout out to you, and I'm sure my father-in-law, Mr. Needy, he appreciates that nickname. I got to throw it out there.
Johnny.
Yeah, he might be mad at that. But you got a great group out there. When you took over, Mikey, what was that like? Because you built it up, I would say, to what it is now.
What was it like when we first?
Well, you said it needed some work, right? You fixed it up.
There was a lot of challenges, many challenges. Just through the years, it was ever evolving. We tried to do something every year, whether it was in the dining room, whether it was in the bar room, whether it was in the kitchen, and as we grew, we grew the kitchen. That's the direction we wanted to go. We wanted to go towards the food, and it took. You and I had this discussion.
Yeah.
It was. Listen, it was a corner bar for years. I didn't want to lose that, but I also wanted to, capture the second half of it as well. It was challenging making that happen. 2008, the state went non-smoking. That was a challenge. Everybody always thought, I don't know if you did or didn't, but everybody always thought, hey, non-smoking is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to smoke, you go to a club. If you don't want to smoke, you go to tavern restaurant. The new PA law, they incorporated, hey, either you're gonna do one or the other. But if you do more than 25% of food, you're gonna go non-smoking. So in turn, they made our job pretty easy. But it wasn't an easy go of it at first.
Yeah.
For us, it wasn't. It just
there's a lot of pushback. From customers on that. And it wasn't something you had any control over. It was
but in retro to that, it is definitely the way we wanted to go. We were a bar with food, and we became a restaurant with beer and liquor. Is that a good way of putting it?
Yeah, I think
sounds great. Yeah.
And from there we just sort of evolved, and then we did a new kitchen in 2011. We revamped the bar room. We cut the bar room horseshoe bar in half and added tables. And then in 2012, we finished basically everything we had started there with the bar. We put a new Corian, what do they call it? Corian,
I think.
Top on the bar, and we added the tables in the bar room itself, and just created some more. We created more seating, for for food on the food side. 2013 we exposed the brick walls.
Oh, I love that.
Sort of brought some character back into the
Yes.
back into it.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2015
You're doing great.
we did
with the
we
years.
did we,
Keep going.
we
I'm
did
impressed.
we did the pool room. We added the brick in the pool room. 2016 we did the dining room. We exposed everything in the and then 2017 we redid the kitchen again. We expanded out, and as the business evolved, we evolved with
Right,
it.
and you reinvested in the business, which is huge. I mean, you
Yeah.
updated things that needed it.
I mean, not only with the with the maintenance and upkeep, but we did a lot with the electric. We didn't. There was knobbing too when we first moved.
Yeah, that's
It's gone.
Yeah.
And we did the electric. We did the water. We did you name it. But everything in the end, everything was to save wherever you could, whether it be with the electric, whether it be with gas, switching the gas from oil to gas. And it's just one of those things where if you saw an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
you had to go for it.
Yeah.
And make it worth your while for business. Wherever you could save, if you can save here, that means you can either you could reinvest there. That was always the mindset.
And we want to shout out, because it took us a little bit to figure this out, but shout out to Lucas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Lucas Stoner.
Little Mountain Log Works for the amazing live edge tables he has around the bar and actually throughout the whole restaurant.
Not just there, but right here in front of me.
Yeah, in the studio here in my office. Yes, heck yeah. Always like and support local, and that's why I got the desk because of the FEHO. Seeing those tables there. So shout out to Lucas. And this is kind of a question for both of you, but what was the process like in selling such a long-standing establishment in the Fredericksburg community?
Me?
Whoever wants to take it. I mean, I didn't.
I'll give you
I
my
didn't sell it.
take.
Okay,
I'll
yeah,
give you
let's
my
get both.
take,
Let's
and
get
then-
that's fine.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
absolutely.
works for me. Yep.
I thought it was important that who was coming in was going to have the same mindset, and I won't BS on bullshit or whatever. From the time I knew Matt. I didn't know Matt, other than to, hear him, hear his name. But what I think is going forward, he has the same mindset. As in, Fredericksburg is a small community. It's important that you get back to the community in such a small setting. And, and I've seen this, and I'm not just BSing right now, I've seen it with what you do with Funck's, other places that you have that have other different names, and your community support. And that was probably, I don't even know the way to put it, but that was a deciding factor.
It was a big factor.
Oh
Yeah.
my, it was, my hope was that whoever came in would, everybody got to put their own hands on it and put their own twist on things. That doesn't mean everything got to be completely revamped and redone. And, Matt said from the very get-go, hey, that's not what I'm here to do. Is I'm here to come in, obviously I want to purchase a place, but he said, first and foremost, I don't want to change anything. That doesn't mean he can't put his handprint on it. That doesn't mean he can't put his, his own twist on things. That's important. I would expect him to put that going forward into play, without and if he does change something, he does it, and it's going to be for the better.
Yeah. Well, for 16 years,
that's his gig.
Right, exactly. Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, that's what they do. But for 16 years, you've grown the clientele, the customers, so you've been doing something right. So it's now, how do you, take that and put, like you said, Matt's spin on it, the Funck spin on it, but still keep it, in my opinion, what it is and what you've made it and what the community, throughout Fredericksburg and Lebanon County come to expect when you go there. So, yeah, Matt, let's turn over to you. What was it like for the sale? What was it like?
Yeah, well, just so I don't forget to bring up this point, like Mike said about the change. I mean, there's no point in fixing something that's not broke. Mm-hmm. But in the same, if you look at like Mike just said, the history of what he did nothing but change. You know what I mean? It was every year, but it was all improvements. It was all things that you tried to do that made it better, that made it more appealing, that made the decor, like, so to say that's not going to happen or something, I won't say that, but like to say the basics of, the menu, those things are all going to stay the same. Absolutely. And even the interior, I mean, he's worked on it for 16 years. I look at it and there's not much I would change. I mean, to think that, I mean, he just finished a beautiful project with his back deck.
You read my mind. I was just going to say. Yeah.
I mean, he added those windows, added the garage doors. I mean, and it looks great.
Yeah.
And it was, like I said, he's done nothing but change. But they were all changes for the better. And, and those are what I hope to bring. I'm not looking to change. I'm not like, I don't think anybody wants a cookie cutter. I mean, I don't. I mean, I want to go to different places. So, but I guess my take on it, is, we had gone back. I don't know. We probably met late spring, early summer, that we had started discussing it.
Sometime in
May, early June. Yeah, right in that time frame.
Okay.
And I'd gone over and looked at it, and I think quickly we came to
I would say
an agreement. It was just our agreement and a lawyer's agreement are different.
Oh, okay. With that legal
right. So it took a little bit more time. And
cheer to that.
Yeah, let's cheers to that. Get in here, man.
Just saying.
Cheers, gentlemen.
But we finally got it accomplished. So, but like.
I gotta throw a plug in. No help from the PLCB.
Yeah, they weren't overly helpful, but so if anybody listening works for them, we're sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. No, that's me saying that. That's not you guys.
I can say I'm not sorry anymore.
Yeah.
This wasn't Matt.
He has no skin.
Matt is sorry.
I completely apologize.
Oh,
but like going forward, like some things I probably look at doing is. And I've talked with the staff, we're looking at adding breakfast aspect to it, and it's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I'll be there.
I look at it and I look at the area. I mean, you look at Esther's and Farmer's Wife and I mean, and those time frames from when they were wildly popular in that area, and they drew a great breakfast business. Mm-hmm. And, I think we can do breakfast and, in talking with the staff, I mean, they're excited about it, and and it's not like, I mean, that's one change we're looking at, but it's not a change.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's not a change that I'm this is.
It's a great idea.
Change is good.
Yeah, like
it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be an upside down change, but evolve. Some evolvement. And it no matter which way you look at it, change is good. He's got a 10-year fresher mind, and he has a 20-year fresher manager. How's that?
Yeah, there you go.
And I don't think anything can come of it but good.
Yes.
And I don't know, I think it's exciting for the community. I think it's exciting for Matt and his family. It can go nowhere but up.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Now, Matt, I wanted to ask you, because this question hit me, and I don't know much about the restaurant business, but I don't know anything. I just know good food, good drinks, good times to be had with friends and family. But when you go looking to purchase a restaurant, like, what is there criteria? What do you look for? Is it a certain kind of ownership that you look for?
Well, so in things that we've done in the past, like when we bought Leola, that was a business that wasn't operating at the time, but it was a large family restaurant kind of. I think it had been one of the Lapp restaurants that during that time from the Lapp family from over in that area. We kind of looked at it and was like, well, man, in the 70s or whenever this building was built, like they did, and in talking to people from the area, they did a heck of a business, and it was, I think. Like when we looked at it, it was kind of, maybe what people were looking for wasn't being offered. Kind of the same thing when my parents had retired and we kind of looked at our business was, when people go out, they want to have a drink with dinner. You know, and we weren't offering that, and it's like, oh, like, you can throw your hands up and be, you know, like, why? But if you're not giving to the customers what they want,
Yes.
like, you can throw your hands up all you want. You can, so, you know, so we made, like I said, we made that change in Palmyra. And when we were looking at Leola, you know, it was kind of, you know, if we come in, we do this, you know, we think we can, you know, kind of duplicate what we were doing in Palmyra. And, you know, and at that point we had added a 200 person deck out there, and we have 156 beers on tap. So, you know, it was kind of, it was a project, and it was vastly different from what had been there previously. But in the same, I mean, there wasn't anybody in there for probably a year, you know, and it was kind of, we were starting from scratch per se. And then, like, when we had bought the Rising Sun, that was a little different, you know, it was an operating business, but it was just, it wasn't, the shape of it, you know, wasn't probably where somebody operating a business would want to be, you know. So,
you know, when you and I talked about the Rising Sun, what you guys did there was exactly what that area needed. I'm not stroking you.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
telling
I
you,
appreciate that.
that is exactly what that place needed.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I was like, holy crap! Somebody had enough nuts to go in and do that.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice building, you know, from the outside, but the inside needed some work, you know, some
It
love.
needs some work, yeah. You know, and it was one of those things when we looked at it, and you look at all those developments going in
It's a
around
great
there.
location, right? Great
Yeah, those
location.
people are going somewhere, and a lot of times, you know, people were traveling outside of that area to go other places. So, you know, if you can keep them in your area and supporting that local business, like, I mean, for us it was a no-brainer, and, you know, it was kind of, you know, we thought we could be successful doing it, and honestly, it's Mike has done the same thing over the course of, you know, I mean, you're probably not old enough to remember prior to him buying it,
I know.
but he made a lot of changes, and I mean, and he spoke of them, but I mean, it's a vastly different place from what it was.
Yeah.
You know, we'll say 17 years ago.
Holy crap!
Is that what got you to pull the trigger? Was all these renovations, all these fixes that Mikey was doing, or what intrigued you to the FEHO? Just curious.
I would say so my wife grew up in the Fredericksburg area.
Yes.
My oldest son and his wife live in the house that she grew up in. You know, so I'm familiar with the area, and I mean, we share the same customers, and I knew what was going on at Mike's place. I had stopped, and it was kind of one of those places that if it came available, I was very interested in it, because I've looked at other places, and, you know, some of them take a little more. There's a little more work involved because, like I said, they're not where they need to be. So, you know, it's drawing clientele. It's kind of what Mike did. You know, the other place I looked at it, you know, and Mike will tell you that's not an easy process to go through.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Everything is.
Yeah.
I do. I'm a firm believer in, you know, if you don't go into it thinking it's a work in progress, you're probably defeated.
Yeah.
Not that you're going to go in there and just turn it upside down. I mean, as in, listen, anything can be tweaked.
Oh yeah.
And anything can
absolutely.
be just made better. Everything can be made
Yeah.
better.
You're always learning too. You're always learning.
betcha.
You know?
Yeah. I learned, listen to the youngsters.
Yeah.
I did. It took, everybody wants to do it their way. My best analogy of that is, okay, if I were to walk into a bar,
Okay. Yep.
my perfect bar would be 12 different Yingling beers.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
That's me. However, you have different makes and models walking in that door.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So, what I like, you don't like, or you don't like, and you gotta, you cater, you know, and that's the business you're in. You're into service and cater, you know, to your clientele. Mm-hmm. So
service, all about service.
You betcha.
Yeah. And the more you can offer to the customer, the longer they'll stay, or the more they'll come back, I imagine, you know. So I wanted to ask you, have either of you noticed any kind of pushback? I know some articles recently came out on social media with the sale now being finalized, and has there been any kind of haters out there?
I'll go.
You go
quick.
Okay.
Or unless you want to go.
No, you go right ahead.
And we talked about it earlier. I try not to listen to the noise. You know, society, they're brutal.
Yeah.
They can be brutal. They don't know Matt. I knew of Matt. I didn't know Matt. I didn't know his family. I didn't know his wife grew up in Fredericksburg. Going forward, in my eyes, the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel or the FEHO or the HO, which, some people still call it the HO from back in the day, whatever. I don't. I call it the FEHO.
Mm-hmm.
My brother-in-law gave him that name, FEHO.
Okay.
I was like, FEHO? Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel? I was like,
yeah.
End of discussion. Okay. Right. I like it. It's better than the HO.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, much better than the HO. Yeah.
Going forward, what's the best way to put it? Help me out, man.
Well, let me just say, I feel like, and again, I want you to say what you're going to say, but you wouldn't have sold if you didn't think it was going to be in good hands.
You're correct.
But
It had a lot to do with it. Okay, can I talk about your wife?
Yeah.
Andrea. Andrea's from Fredericksburg. I'm from Fredericksburg. My wife's from Annville. Matt's from Annville.
Wow, real small world.
Yeah.
Jeez, okay.
Okay.
Yep. I'm with you. Right.
Yeah,
totally.
I knew her father. My father knew her father.
Yeah.
Her father worked for my father for a while. Little things, and I know it's in good. I don't know it's in good hands. It's in great hands.
Yes.
How's that?
Yeah.
And that's how I truly feel. Not just because it's sold. There was some past history where it could have been sold, and it didn't. For a couple different reasons, but we don't need to get into it. But I feel really good about it. And naysayers, I won't go real deep into it other than they don't walk in his shoes.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't walked in my shoes. Until they do, then they can comment.
There you go. That's perfectly said. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
What's your take, Matt?
I mean, I guess fortunately I'm a little older also, and I don't have anything to do with any of our social media, fortunately. Well, one, they would be, anybody that's probably under 30 would be like, is there an old guy operating your social media? Because it sure seems like it.
Oh, man, give yourself some credit.
Steph said to me,
okay,
we took you off. I went, thank God.
Sigh of relief.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, fortunately, and I'm not a big social media person. I mean, usually I'll look up some news articles and about the stuff I'm interested is about the amount of time I spend on my phone doing that kind of thing. So, I mean, if there's stuff, I mean, I know there was stuff being said because Steph had asked me about it, and time will go on and people will come and go, and and we're going to try and do the best we can for our customer that's coming in that door.
There you go. The naysayers, give Matt and Funck's a chance. Give them an opportunity. Come on out and still support, and then make your judgment, because it's easy to, judge and throw people under the bus while you're sitting behind your computer and you're not actually, you don't even give people a chance. Sometimes people don't even give people a chance and they make a quick judgment.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on it.
And fortunately, from the business aspect, I mean, one thing that, my brother and I have been able to do, in our industry, is, we're providing healthcare. We're providing time off where, at 2 years you can have I think it's 10 days. At 10 years you get 3 weeks vacation.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's kind of unheard of in our industry.
I was going to say, it sounds it, yeah.
We have a 401k plan where we're offering 4% match.
Wow.
Which, isn't real common. We're trying to, everything we try to do is we're trying to do for our employees, because I've been in it long enough that I've seen the employees that get to retirement and they can't have the retirement that they should for the years that they put in.
Yeah.
Because Social Security just doesn't work like it should. So, if we can provide a retirement for employees that work in the hospitality industry, I mean, I feel that we are, and I feel that we're doing a good service for our employees. And I mean, and in the same, we're trying to give exceptional service. Mike's staff was also like that, where they gave exceptional service, and will I say we're perfect? No. And it's kind of the same thing. Do I know everything? I said to the staff in the meeting when, I kind of introduced myself, and I said, I've been in this a long time, but I don't know everything. The day I tell you I know everything, just tell me to leave.
Yeah.
Because I don't. And I said, I'm
Yeah.
going to learn
Yeah.
from you as much as you're going to learn from me, and we're going to grow. And we're going to continue growing till either we don't want to or we drop over.
There you go. Yeah.
And those are your two options.
Yeah.
And I enjoy learning. I mean, I enjoy learning what I like learning about, I should say. So
right, there you go.
I gave my college.
No, totally. So, Matt, what are your future?
I got to add something to that.
Please go ahead.
Okay,
Mikey, go ahead.
that was huge. When he came in, he said, I asked him about insurance. I did, because we were in the process of changing our employees into the 401k plan. If I'm lying, I'm dying. So I did. I said, what do you want me to go here, Matt? And he said, just stop it. He said, that's a direction we will also go.
Okay.
Because I was in the process of changing our employees into the 401ks and, full-time employees.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
I don't know what you do with the part-time employee. I don't know.
Yeah, well, ours is if you work, you got to work
Certain
1,000 hours in
Okay.
1,000 hours in the year, which is about 20 hours a week.
Okay.
And that's just kind of that's the plan that we're in. That's the federal.
We hadn't gotten
guidelines
that far,
it. Yeah.
as in, where we were with 401ks. We were in the process, and we were putting it together. It was important that my full-time employees had insurance. And like you said, it's unheard of in this business. Years ago, it was unheard of. But if you don't take care of your employees, somebody else will.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well,
and
you're honestly, your employees are like family, because you spend as much time or more time with them than you do with your own family.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
I think of the time you spend at work in a week, or we have people like at the places that we have, the Funck's locations, that I've known some of them since I was 8 years old. I've known some of them since I was 12. Wow. Yeah. I grew up, essentially I've worked with some of them since I was 18, 19, 20.
They've been with you for years.
Yeah. They are like family. I've just known them so long, and and it's,
and if it's human nature, if you can't provide for them, somebody else will.
Yeah.
So you must be doing something right, man.
Well,
Exactly.
hopefully.
Yeah, because you don't want to lose that talent. And Colortech here being a family business, I'm third generation. My grandfather started in 1980. Like you said, Matt, many of the employees, I always joke, they knew me when I used to have hair. When I was a little guy, 31. Yeah, Mikey, you know me. I'm losing my hair.
What's up?
I don't know. But anyway, let's keep moving. So, but you're right, because without your employees, what do you have? It's just a shell. It's just a business. It's a building. It's a building.
You can't do it yourself.
Right, and you exactly. You can't do it all yourself. So you need to build that team around you. And if you can have employees that are loyal for 5 years, 10, 15, 20 years, that says a lot about yourself as a leader,
you're
as a business
good
owner.
as your employees.
Exactly. And then you build that team.
That's my take.
Yeah. No, and we're very fortunate. We have some awesome employees. And, there's times I have questions, and I shoot a text to one of the managers, and it's like, and I'm asking them about it or how to do it, and and you need those people. Like I said, if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in trouble. Because, if I'm the smartest guy in the room, we're all in trouble. So.
Yeah, well, you want to surround yourself with people that know different things than you, right?
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
key. That question you. You don't want a bunch of yes men that are saying, "Oh yes, you're right, Matt," or "Oh yes, you're right, Austin," or Mikey. You're right.
I want somebody to argue with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want that different.
I want the best outcome.
Yeah, and that different perspective, that different viewpoint.
You bet.
And at the end of the day, whether it's printing or restaurant businesses, sometimes your employees are front facing and they're facing your clientele, and that could be the first interaction between Funck's, between Colortech with your customers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's an investment into your people, and from what I'm hearing, it sounds like 401ks and what you're doing is unheard of in the restaurant community, is what I'm kind of gathering.
right now, I don't know. I'm
go
not
ahead.
trying to speak out,
No.
but it was unheard of.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing it,
You're missing
they're
out.
gonna come to him.
There you go.
How's
Yeah.
that?
That's what we're hoping.
I'm serious.
You're right. No, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, and that's
Yeah.
why we did it. I mean, we
Yep.
did it. So I mean, we want
Yeah.
good employees. We want good
Yep. Nothing
I mean,
wrong
we
with
want
that.
good people to work
I-
with.
I hired a fella. It would have been about 2 months prior, but it would have been about a month prior. Then it turned out to be about a month prior to our settlement, and he worked for you guys at another location, and the only reason he wanted to move, he knew it was in the works, and he said, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
What he said was, I want to be closer to home.
Mm-hmm.
That was Claudia,
Yeah.
and he's a good employee.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
Yeah,
know, he's spot on. He's on time. He's what you want in an employee.
There you go.
You know,
Perfect.
and you know they maintain him from another business, and he came with us, and now he's still with them, and he knew it. What's that say?
yeah.
Yeah. This says a lot.
You bet,
So, Matt, what are your future plans for the FEHO?
I had mentioned about we're looking at starting breakfast here in January. I mean that's a big change. Honestly, outside of that, I mean, I don't know. There's like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, kind of going forward, it's more of getting my personal operations kind of set up in it, where we had added a point of sale system. Fortunately, Mike was nice enough. He let me get a lot of the install done that the morning of closing, we were able to finish it and go live with it at that lunchtime. So, and some of this stuff is, it's going to be things people don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'll be getting the people enrolled in the 401k. It'll be,
Yeah.
those things that hopefully, I mean, the employees will look at it as better and they'll look at it as changes, but it really won't be visible to the customer coming in.
Okay.
But like I said, no, the breakfast will.
Yeah.
When you come out and you can have a mimosa or have something with
Ooh.
breakfast,
Mimosas.
or an orange
didn't think
crush,
about
or
that.
My wife's-
even grab
yeah.
a beer if you want.
There you go. Right. I was going to say the mimosas. My wife's all over that.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll
I
come.
was gonna say most I think
Uh-huh.
most everyone's wives are. So.
Yeah.
I'm in.
You're in. All right. Yeah. You can't go wrong with a good breakfast. You just can't. So, Mikey, now that you sold, how are you planning to spend all that free time? What are you up to? What are you going to do? What are you and Jamie going to do?
What's free time?
What's free time? Well, you're going to have it, aren't you?
I guess so. I got a couple coals in the fire. Nothing restaurant related.
Oh, I thought Steph said she was hiring you back.
Wouldn't that be something? Yeah.
She don't want me back. No, I we're in the midst of building a place up in Raystown area. I don't know what's going to come. If we're going to go there, we're going to stay here. Something will give down the road. I just don't know what. I have some things planned with hunting.
Right, I want to talk about that because I see it on Facebook, and it's like it looks something out of maybe a video or something out of a video game. Excuse me. With you and Lucas, you got your night scopes, and you're shooting these wild coyotes, and I don't know, bobcats or bears, whatever you're doing. What's that about? And how do people get in touch with you if they need that service? Because I didn't even know it was a thing.
We put a thing in the merchandiser and the outdoor article. I think you have some at the hotel.
Yeah.
And it's not obviously it's not lucrative, but
It's fun.
It is.
Yeah.
And we're having fun with it. So if you have a predator problem or issue, give us a call, 717 Predator Control.
Predator control. I like it. Okay.
So, and we do have his number, my number, it is posted, but it's not one of those things where we're not in it for hire. You call us, we'll come over, we'll take a look at your property, and we'll hunt your predators, whether it's coyotes or fox or whatever your issue is.
What do you see? What's like a coyote, fox? Do you see? Like, what's the biggest
Right now we're
Bobcat?
seeing.
Do we have bobcats? In
We
PA?
oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
bobcats. We
I'm
saw a
naive to
bobcat
this.
about it's probably a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
They weren't in yet, so I do have a license. You're allowed to shoot one a year in the state of PA, or you can trap them. Mostly what we're shooting right now is red fox. I think we have about four or five coyote shots so far this year.
Wow. What do they go after? They're going after chickens, kids? What?
Oh, they go after chickens. They go after your cats. They go after they'll go after dogs. They'll take down some young livestock.
I didn't know this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and like I said, we're having some fun with it. We're going to do a couple of hunts up in Clearfield County, Mosquito Creek. So, and the game commission will be there. They got their hand, where when I say they have their hands in it, it's a big deal. So depending on how many come in, they might. I think last year each coyote brought in was worth about $69. So for us to take a coyote in right now is ranges anywhere from 5 to 7 depending on the coat. We're not in for the money.
Right.
Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it's fun. You do it because it's badass. It looks badass to me. I don't know.
We're out, and I'll tell you what, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It really is.
And you're doing good for the community too.
It's not, like I said, I could be doing a lot worse things, I guess.
Yeah.
So
what's the number again in case people want to call, and what's it called again? One more time.
It's 717 Predator Control. You can call Lucas or myself. My number is 717-383-1514.
Perfect. How can our listeners connect with you? Matt, let's start with you. How can our listeners connect?
So if you go to Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel on Facebook, if you go to fredericksburgeaglehotel.com for our website, we will be starting a Instagram page.
Okay.
That is in talking with Steph and a lady that does some social media with us. So I will probably have about zero involvement in that.
Which might be a good thing based on our early
Yes,
conversation.
it'll be way more interesting if I'm not involved.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
So those are some ways.
And Mikey, I mean, I know you're, riding off into the sunset here, going into some, maybe retirement, but, okay, well then good. How can our listeners, if they wanted to get in touch with you, other than the hunting, if they wanted to connect with you, how can they do it?
Call Jamie.
Call Jamie. Reach out to Jamie on Facebook for all the listeners out there. Or bring some bourbon. That'll get Mikey's attention.
Maybe so.
Maybe so.
No, what's the best way to put that? What'd you say about with the girls involved there with the social media?
And they know what they're doing.
Yeah, that too.
They're fun. They're
No,
funny.
they're
They're interesting.
They have young brains.
Yeah.
When I say about, how to get in touch with me,
Yes.
call my phone number.
Yeah.
That's the easiest
Okay.
way for me.
Call my phone, and if I don't have the number, leave a message. I'll call you back.
I will, I promise.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So if you need to get hold of Mike, give him a call. Leave a voicemail. He might get back to you if you say.
No, I will.
He
Especially
will.
if you want me to shoot something.
There you go.
If there's a hunting opportunity, he'll be right over.
Be right over. Perfect. So before we close out, is there anything else you'd like the listeners to know, Matt?
I guess I don't know if but I think myself along with the community say thank you to Mike for the great job he did with the FEHO. I mean, the transformation that took place over the last 15, 16 years. And I'm sure he won't ride off into the sunset. Being in the restaurant business, take a little bit of downtime. Do the hunting that, you didn't do because you had to go in because the dishwasher broke or
You became the dishwasher.
There's always something.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
take the time, and no one's going to call you while you're out hunting. So just put your phone in your bag, and you don't have to worry about getting a text message that you need to address something. So, but no, I say, congratulations to Mike, and, a job well done, and good luck with your future, and we hope we see you around, and we might grab your arm and pull you back.
You're
in
not
going to
get away. You're not going to get rid of me.
Oh, I was gonna say, don't worry. We have some plans for you in the future, anyway. So
Yeah.
we have a customer appreciation night coming up. Where
great.
you're gonna be the lead singer in a band.
Careful what you wish for.
Wait, a lead singer in a band? What? All right. So all right, that sounds great. And
Bring out the bourbon.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mikey, anything else you'd like to leave with the listeners?
Yeah. I appreciate the kind words. I do. I'm gonna make it short and sweet.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been a hell of a ride. If I had to leave one thing going forward, give Matt and his staff their due respect. They will not disappoint you.
Yeah.
That's from the heart.
No, that sounds great, gentlemen. Mike Saphore and Matt Funck on the American Grown Podcast in the Colortech Creative Solutions studios. Thank you both for joining me. Gentlemen, here, Matt, put a little more in there. We're going to do one last cheers to our wives. Shout out Jamie, Andrea, Courtney, my wife.
Matt's buying.
Yeah, just a little bit. Luckily, I just got to walk home. I live right next door, so
That's wrong.
But yeah, shout out to the wives and for the best for the FEHO and the Funck restaurant business.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
To see photos of today's guests and more content, just search American Grown Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review.
If you'd like to be a featured guest on the podcast, please direct message or email Austin at americangrownpod@gmail.com.